Hi, welcome to Cup of Chocolate. I'm Shoko. In each episode of this podcast, a friend and I will be chatting and discussing listener-submitted stories and gossip. So grab a cup and let's chat. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
All right, we are live. Well, no, we are recording.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, thank you so
Hello.
much. Yeah, hello. Thank you so much for joining us today, or joining me today. Mm.
Joining you for everyone else.
Yes, yes. All right, so let me introduce you, Swifty.
Okay, dokes.
Yes, Swifty is an artist and musician from Southern California who founded the indie pop band The Sound Mites. If you like artists like Dayglow of Montreal or the Beatles, take a listen to their music. You can find The Sound Mites on YouTube, Spotify, and other streaming platforms except Apple Music at this moment. But that's going to change, right?
Yes, it should absolutely change pretty soon. I'm still kind of figuring out how to do that, but we're working on it.
That's awesome. So I had you were so kind to send me a couple sound bites, and I'd love to play them. But first, I want to hear about the sound bites, how it came to be, who's involved. Just tell me about your this band of yours.
All right, so the band is pretty much. I've had this idea for a long time,
Mm.
especially since I've many times tried to get into bands, try to get people interested in my music, all that kind of thing. And I've never been able to find anyone or any opportunity to kind of form a band, like,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote, the right way, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To like
Yeah.
play shows and such. And so I was just, like Thanos, I'll do it myself. And so the Sound Mites is basically just a name that I came up with. I thought it was a kind of a fun name.
I
Um,
love it. Yeah.
yeah, because I always go to the Beatles because they're my
Mm-hmm.
favorite band, and the Beatles really loved Buddy Holly and the Crickets. So
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Oh, let's do something bug related." So they became the Beatles. Um, and so I was kind of thinking something similar, where I was like, "Well, maybe let's do something bug related." And just like how the Beatles has a kind of like a pun, a play on words, I try to do a play on words where it's the
Yeah.
sound mites. And so,
Exactly.
yeah, and I thought that was kind of fun. But I am currently by myself doing that. But the idea was to make it a broad concept, like a broader
Mm.
band, to where it's like if I had someone featured, they would be part of the sound mites.
Oh, that's so cool.
So like how, like for the Beatles, they would say, "Oh, the
Mhm.
fifth Beatle is, blah blah blah."
Right.
They'll put whoever they want. For me, it's like, who is a soundbite? Anyone who is featured or helping work on the song is considered a soundbite.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
so I
so
want
cool.
to make it like collective in a
Yeah.
way.
So have you done some collaborations with other sound mites yet, or mostly solo work for now?
Mostly solo. I had once the first song that I put out
Mm-hmm.
is called Overnight Loser. And it is not me singing in the song because I was very insecure about my voice at the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually hired someone else to do the vocals.
Oh,
She,
interesting.
yeah, unfortunately, she wishes to be anonymous. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't say who it was. I can't give a name or anything. But
Mm.
technically, there is another sound mite, and she
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed working on it, and she liked it. But ultimately, it was like a gig job She came in, she did
Mm.
the vocals, and she's, you know, no longer in the picture. I could contact her again, but I mean, she is a professional. She sounds very,
I
very
see.
good. So
That's so cool. I didn't
yeah,
know that was like something that people did.
yeah. There's a lot of freelancers out there, like in
Mm.
Fiverr. If you ever heard
Mm-hmm.
of that app,
Yes.
yeah. So like people do a whole lot of gig work there, and that includes music too. You can find instrumentalists, you can find singers, anything on if you were to like look for freelancers.
That's so cool. And
Yeah.
how did you get into music?
I've been into music for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've always loved music, and I
Mm.
feel like music connects with culture so hand in hand that
Yeah.
I don't feel like a lot of people talk enough about it, because I feel like if you were to see what's the most popular songs, you get to
Mm.
kind of get a picture of how culture was at the time. And when I was growing up in Southern California, when I was in high school, uh, late middle school, early high school, it
Mm-hmm.
was very much the EDM craze. Everything was
Mm-hmm.
pop, rap, EDM.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to sound like I'm one of those people, but I was one of those people where I said, music these days sucks. It doesn't even mean anything. I was
Yep,
obnoxious
yep.
like that. but but ultimately it was because culture at the time was very much like, YOLO. That was a common
Yes.
phrase that was going on at that time. Everyone was kind of
Mm-hmm.
partying, everyone was going kind of crazy. And at
The
that
way of
time,
life.
the way of life. But it was either that or you were kind of more into like emo,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't really into emo either. I
Mm.
didn't really connect with either of the major cultural movements, I suppose I'll say, at that
Right.
time. And so I was like, what? I got to listen to something that's connecting with me. And
Mm.
I found solace in like older music, especially
Mm.
like old 50s tunes. So
Yes.
I was listening to like Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry and stuff.
Mm.
And about junior year of my high school, I said to myself, like, I I love this older music. I want to start playing guitar like this. I want to play guitar. And so
Ah.
I started learning. I grabbed my brother's acoustic guitar cuz he was learning guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And without his permission, I started to learn some songs when he wasn't home. He was not very happy when he was home and heard that someone was playing his guitar. So is life. But yeah, and I was kind of on and off for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't until 2018, I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
that I said, "Man, I really love music. I really love playing the guitar. I want to like do something with this. I feel like I can do something with this." So that was when I was like, I want to get more into music. I want to understand it more. I want to listen to all different kinds of genres. I want to really get into it. I think I can do something with this. So
Yeah.
that was when I started to practice way more consistently. Listen to
Mm-hmm.
music almost every minute of the day, and I started writing at that time. Really,
Oh.
really crappy songs that are still on my phone. Actually, I keep everything on my phone.
That's great though. That's great that you keep all this stuff, even if you look back on it, it's like, ooh, cringe. But
Oh, it's pretty bad. Have you ever seen that clip of Ed Sheeran? I forget what talk show he was in, but they basically said, "Oh, Ed Sheeran, of course, he's always been really good at singing and really good at the guitar and stuff." And he was like, "No, not at all. Here's an old clip of me." And he did an old recording when he was younger, and his voice was cracking. He was off tune.
Oh
He
no.
couldn't play the guitar well at all. but he was like, "Hey, you just got to keep doing it. You just got to keep doing it, and then you'll get better." So I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess that's what I got to do too."
That's awesome though. And I think it's really important to like, keep that, not to like keep, make yourself humble or keep yourself humble, but it's so cool to see like how much you've progressed and how much you've changed over the time.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think it was Adventure Time where
Mm.
Jake the dog says sucking at something is one step closer to not being so bad at something or something like that.
Words to live by.
You start sucking before you start sucking less.
Yes. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my butt.
That would be a very good place to put it.
All right. So today's topic is cheating. And before we jump into the topic, do you have any songs about cheating?
Songs about cheating? That's
Mm.
funny. I have not written a song about
Ooh.
it. And that's really funny that you say that because you would think that that would be a good topic to write a song about,
Oh
especially since I
yeah.
have experience. That's I'm like my eyes have just bulged out of my skull. Like I can't believe I haven't even thought about that.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's gonna be your next song then.
It is, and I'm going to dedicate it to you and to all the lovely listeners of this wonderful podcast.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, let me play one of your clips now, so we can vibe with your sound mites, and then we will have a synchronized sip and get into the meat of today's episode. And then I have the other clip to wrap up the episode with. I'm so excited. I've been like listening to your music all day, and I'm just
Oh,
like I'm vibing.
oh, thank you.
So we will start with Foggy Windows. This is a recent song of yours? Is
Yes,
this most recent?
this is the most recent one that came out earlier this month, and it's my debut of me actually singing. So that was kind of a big deal for me.
Your voice is amazing, by the way.
Oh,
So
thank you
here,
so
let's
much.
let's have a listen.
You got me singing now with the foggy windows in my car. I'm hooked on you. I'm hooked on you. When the windows are through the night and you just that glass with your light, you made a move on the blossom that I still see. After all this time that's come and gone.
That's such a vibe.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm obsessed.
I'm
is
very glad.
is this just a single or is this part of, do you have a few coming out?
Yes, it is a single,
Mm-hmm.
technically, but I do plan on it being on an album pretty
Yes.
soon. I am
Yes,
working on an
yes.
album.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have two albums I'm going to do.
Ooh.
Um, and for me, that's my goal. My goal is to make one where I go all out, which is going to be
Mm-hmm.
this first one. Second
Mm-hmm.
one's going to be a secret, but as
Ooh.
of right now, I have made a goal and the decision that I'm going to make at least two, and I have the idea for two. So Foggy Windows is a single, but it will also be on an upcoming album.
Excellent. All right. Do you have your drink ready?
I do.
What are you drinking?
I have a I mean, it's kind of a complicated process, but I'll try to explain really quick.
Please
So
explain.
so it it first came extremely hot. I had to come to a boil, and then I
Okay.
froze it, and then I melted it. It is a chilled out, heated up cup of water.
Oh my God.
So
Wait a minute. So hold up. It's a cup of melted ice.
well, it was frozen boiled water first, actually.
Okay, this is artisanal ice.
Yes. I don't know what that word means, but yes, I will say yes.
It means that Starbucks would charge you a premium for it.
Oh, oh, I can make a lot of money with that. Thank you.
Oh, yes, yes. You can sell it.
I shall sell it.
All right, I have a cup of jasmine tea that at one point was also very, very hot.
Nice.
But are you ready for the synchronized sip?
I am ready.
All right, here we go.
Uh,
So good. How do you like your melted artisanal ice?
it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Gordon Ramsay would love it.
Excellent. All right. So today's topic of cheating. I feel like many people have different ideas of what cheating is to them. What is your definition of cheating?
My definition
Mm,
is whatever is um, like a broken personal contract between the people dating.
mm,
I mean, if you haven't discussed it before, you should absolutely discuss it. But if it's something
absolutely.
that, you haven't discussed and you do it behind their back, then
Mm-hmm.
it is most likely not okay.
Mm.
But I know people are like in open relationships and they talked about it, they're okay with it, not cheating. But
Right.
yeah, but if your partner is not okay with it, then yeah.
Absolutely. I think, well, I don't know if I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of like any more, but I guess the two biggest ones are emotional cheating and physical cheating.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What are your thoughts on those?
Okay. That's interesting. I haven't really put too much thought into it.
Mm,
I mean, physical is very obvious.
yes.
Emotional can be a little bit more interesting,
Mm,
um, because it's like you're seeking companionship in a romantic level, I'm assuming,
right.
um, that it goes beyond the agreed relationship you're with someone. I guess the emotional, oh, huh, interesting. What are your thoughts?
there,
I need to sit
yeah,
on that.
there are no wrong answers here.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
because I feel like cheating is such a personal thing. So there's definitely no wrong answers. I feel like I feel some people might be for my follow-up question for this was going to be, is a relationship salvageable after either of these forms of cheating? For some
Ah,
people, yeah. For some people, physical cheating is like the end all be all, like that's it. For some people, emotional cheating, you know, can be overcome, perhaps. But
okay.
for some people, it's just as bad.
Yes, I could see that for
Mm.
sure. So the question of it's if the relationship is still salvageable, I
Mm-hmm.
think because it is, like we're saying, it's so individualized, it's so personal
Mm.
that I would not, um, I wouldn't say, yes or no specifically. I mean, you go to the
Right.
specific individual, you go to the specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if someone's chronically cheating, like they've done it multiple times, and
Mm.
they're just like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to." It's like, well, they're just being dishonest. Then it's probably best not to do it.
Right.
But I mean, if someone is just like at work and they get really close to someone and they get like way more intimate and it's like a heat of a moment, then it's like, "Oh shoot, like I didn't intend it to go this far. Like, we need to
Mm-hmm.
stop doing this because I'm like in a relationship." Then it's like, oh, I got to tell them because I want to,
Mm.
let them know something like this is happening. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, that seems like it's salvageable like that. But if you're
Right.
trying to like keep it hidden, usually if you're trying to keep it hidden, there's usually
That's
more
right.
red flags.
Mm. Now, that just reminds me. That gave me a thought. Where is the line between emotional cheating and having a a best friend who is of, your romantic interest, if that makes sense. Because,
Yeah.
there's, so if for example, we'll run with your idea about the, a work, they have this thing called work wives, work husbands.
Yeah.
Right. So if, for example, um, a guy has a quote unquote work wife, but they're like best friends. Do you think, like, where is the line for it to be emotional cheating or just close friends?
So one of the things for me
Mm.
is, and this might be a hot take, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the concept of like, and even putting a label to the idea of
Mm.
like a work wife and a work husband is weird at best. At least to me, it's weird at best,
Yes.
or it could be insidious at worst.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the moment that you start saying, like, "Oh, this is my work wife," I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that comes to territory where, like, me personally, I'm like, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be too ecstatic. I mean,
No.
I'll trust my partner for sure. I'm not going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
you know caring too much, but I would still, raise an eyebrow and maybe even mention it if my partner was just like, "So I have a work spouse." It'll be like, "Oh, interesting.
Right.
Do tell."
Exactly, exactly. I don't think, because so I'm married. I have a husband. If my husband were to tell me he has a work wife, I would not be happy.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
um, a female best friend. I That's a good question. I don't know how, if it was like a friendship that existed before my husband and I met, before we got together and got married, then I would be more comfortable with it. But if suddenly one day he comes home and he's like starts talking about, his lady BFF, I would be a little bit insecure, I think.
Okay. I see that. I could see that. Yeah, for me, I think having a friend of the opposite sex or
Mm,
gender, or a
mm,
different sex or gender, however you want to say it,
mm,
um, could be totally good,
mhm.
totally well. I think it is, because it really goes, it goes back to the idea of what is considered emotional cheating.
Right.
Because if, you know, because it really becomes a question of like, oh, if your husband came back with a guy and had the exact
Mm,
same relationship, how could that
right.
be more different than having and that could go into, that could be a little bit more of like a sticky situation where it's like, well, maybe this could lead to attraction, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's because like, oh, that, I'm using you
Yes,
and your
go
husband as the
ahead.
example, even though I'm not saying like this is about you
No. Oh,
specifically,
no, no, no,
but
no.
but maybe there's like that sense of
Hmm.
comfort knowing it's like, oh, he's not attracted to dudes that I'm
Right.
aware of. Then it
Right.
doesn't seem to be like that conflict of interest, I suppose.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I I guess hmm it boils down. Yeah, it really is kind of a sticky situation the more you kind of think about it. I'm sure there's like academics that are like, no, it's so simple. Look, there's a
Right.
500 page book on this very thing that you guys should read.
Yes, I hope people do write in their opinions about this, whether on Threads or on the podcast Instagram account. I would love to hear people's opinions on emotional cheating and physical cheating.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
I would too. I'm very curious as well what other people
yeah.
think.
Well, so okay, I have one. I have two stories. One is about a friend of mine. So I'll tell you the story, and then I want to hear what your thoughts are on this, and if you were this person, what you would do.
Okay.
Um, so I have a friend who was cheated on. Well, in her the way she sees this is as cheating, is physical cheating.
Okay.
So she was 8 months pregnant. Um, yeah. So she was 8 months pregnant and she was about to go do the laundry for her husband, or, just, the family laundry. And out of her husband's pocket comes a calling card for a strip club.
Oh.
Mm. And so obviously she was not happy about this, regardless. Um, and so she confronts him, and ultimately comes out that it was not just a strip club, not just a lap dance, but he did get a hand job from one of the girls.
Oh no.
Mm.
Oh.
And so the husband's defense was that he got belligerently drunk. He hardly remembers it.
Hmm.
And but he does admit to getting a hand job from one of the strippers.
He,
Ultimately, and my
okay.
friend has decided to remain in the relationship with her husband. But it's something that, still eats her up inside. What are your thoughts on this?
I see. And I should have probably muted my mic, but I'm just like making audible gasp and
Oh
noises in
no,
the
that's great.
I'm
Please
just
do more
just
gasps.
hmm hmm okay.
Ooh.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly,
Hmm.
he says he barely remembers it, but he still knows that it happened.
Hmm.
Like he knew that he had a hand job
Yeah.
without
He
someone
comes
telling
clear.
him.
Yeah, he comes clear that, it he did get a hand job.
Well,
I think being the blackout drunk part, not really remembering, was kind of his defense, and it was just an exaggeration of the state of his drunkenness.
yes, because if you black out, you don't know anything.
Mm-mm.
You just wake up suddenly in a gutter, and you're just like, what? Um, not like I have personal experience. I don't. I just that's what the movies always show. That's what the TV
Yes.
shows always show. So
Yes.
basing your reality on TV shows is the best way to do analysis on this. But
Exactly.
but yeah, I one of the things that comes to mind
Mm.
is would he have said it if it weren't for her seeing the card?
Exactly.
And that's my first thought that I had.
Mm. Mm.
And I mean, it's I guess chill that he confessed to everything, not
Hmm.
like he just was like,
Right.
"Oh shoot, yeah. Oh, actually I just got that card from a friend." He could just lie
Right.
lie about it. So,
Right.
there's a little bit of props there, I suppose.
Mm.
Um I can imagine drinking is a part of it.
Hmm.
I think the blackout drunk thing is just an
Trying
excuse,
to
like you
cover his
said.
ass.
Yeah, trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
Because I need to know more about it, but it's one of those
Mm.
things where it's like I feel like if you're drunk, you're not just. I mean, there's a sense of randomness to it. You're not entirely
Hmm.
yourself very often.
Yes. Yeah.
Why I typically try to stay,
Mm.
stay away from it as much as possible because I don't know. That seems an awful. That seems awful to me. I don't know how people do it. I feel like it's like, oh, here's a substance that will make you have no idea what you're doing, or at
Hmm.
least like have lack of proper judgment. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. But I don't know. I think there was problems. I feel like there had to have been at least at that time.
Mm.
I'm
Hmm.
sure things maybe have cleared up since then.
Mm.
I know how some guys can typically be um they could be frustrated because
Mm.
they may not be that attracted to their wife when they
Right.
either like gain some weight, you know, through food or even pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
I get how that can be, how that is sadly incredibly common.
Yeah.
And so perhaps he was trying to fill a need that he felt like he was lacking at that time. Because, I mean, you're 8 months pregnant, you know. So hopefully they figured it out. If I was in that situation, I'm sure there's a lot of details that, you know, I mean, they've had a relationship, I'm assuming, for a very long time. They're married,
Mm.
they have a child. I don't know how long it's been since then. Not sure if that's been like a common occurrence. Maybe that's
Right.
just a weird outlier, like a random event that came out of nowhere. Um, so I guess I wouldn't con- um I wouldn't necessarily be like, "Oh, girl, you got to break up with him." You know what I mean? It is
Right.
pretty bad, but
It is pretty bad.
if there's an ability to make it work, and it seems to have, I'm assuming,
Mm. Yeah,
if she,
the fact that she stayed, I'm assuming that she has enough trust in him that it was just like a very fucked up mistake and
yeah,
not something that would happen again.
yeah,
But I do know, she is it is something that she's still like it's a trauma, being cheated on is a trauma.
true,
It does cause trauma. And so um clearly her remaining in that relationship means that it's not something that is common of him doing it. So it's not
yeah,
it's like, it was the alcohol, it wasn't him. Um but if it
yeah,
continues to eat you up, I
that
want,
is true.
what is the straw? What is the last straw?
And it is one of those things too, where unfortunately, the question comes where it's like, because I forgot that you did mention that she thinks about it still, and it gets
Mm.
kind of torn up by it. You're right. It does, you know, and that kind of stuff sticks with you. And I'm not sure
Mm.
if even, sadly and unfortunately, even if you were
Mm.
to kind of break up from it, I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
pain will still kind of follow. I mean,
Right.
you have a child too. I'm assuming the
Mm-hmm.
child has been born at this point, so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I would stay vigilant though,
Mm-hmm.
because like you're kind of saying, it's like, oh, it wasn't him, it was the alcohol or something. And it's like, well, technically it was him.
Oh, right.
Even though
Right.
there was influence, it's not like, it
Exactly.
just happened. It's like if someone gets like blackout drunk and murders someone, it's like the legal system isn't just going to be like, oh, your honor, he was blackout drunk, I'm sorry. It's like,
Right.
oh, my bad, you're good. And it's like, well,
Exactly.
no.
I mean, they do call alcohol the truth serum. So,
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
mm.
The 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 thing that I kind of struggle with is that
Mm.
sometimes people can be truly awful
Mm-hmm.
in like their thoughts. Like here's a great example that I like to bring up. Like people with OCD.
Mm.
And the thing about OCD is people commonly, colloquially say it's like, oh, it's because they're a neat freak or something. And it's
Mm.
like, no, there's like intrusive thoughts that come with it, like true
Right.
intrusive thoughts.
Mm.
And often those thoughts can be criminal, they can be awful. And the unfortunate reality is those people will feel incredibly guilty because they know
Mm-hmm.
that it's not right. And
Right.
it isn't right to, follow through if they were to have things. That's why they call it intrusive thoughts. It's not something you want
Yes.
to do. But if you
Mm.
but if you're just like there, like something that's very common with people with OCD, or it is common with people who have OCD, and it is they
Yes.
will have random urges of like pedophilic thoughts, and
Mm-hmm.
they understand and they don't follow through. I don't want, you
Mm.
know what I mean? And
Yes.
it can be a touchy subject because people will be like, oh, you think that way, you must be bad. And it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
they're not meaning to. It's an intrusive thought. and
Right.
they feel guilty for thinking that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's I'm kind of using a fairly uh specific example, and it's not,
Yeah,
it's common enough, but it's not like everyone kind of like thinks that way.
exactly.
But there is
Mm-hmm.
that possibility where it's like someone has those intrusive thoughts, but they stop themselves. So if they have the alcohol, then they just go in with the intrusive thoughts, that it's like,
Mm.
oh, perhaps I guess it could be a sort of truth serum. But sometimes our brain allows us to stop those thoughts too.
Right.
Because I mean,
Right.
how many times are you like on the road or something and you get road rage and you're just like, gosh, I just want to smash into their car,
Mm.
but I won't, because I mean, that would be dumb. That would be awful. I could possibly kill
Exactly.
someone. But it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
if you're drunk, it's like, I suppose you can see that as like a truth serum, like, but they may actually
Right.
do it. And
Right.
it's like, oh, shoot, if I was in my right mind, I would have obviously not done that because that would be silly. But
Mm.
so I'm not sure. I think alcohol is a bad influence,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some internal thoughts that could be presented with alcohol, but
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily say. I mean, there's still consequences, of course. I'm not.
Sure.
I'm not trying to. This guy isn't fully off the hook because he had some alcohol and he was, doing all this crazy stuff. Like he
Right.
still did it, which is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there
Yeah.
should be some sort of like,
Yeah, I feel
justice
like,
there.
sorry to interrupt, but I feel
That's
like
fine.
that alcohol is kind of one of the lesser substances that would influence your actions. Like if you have certain morals, you still maintain those morals even if you're dumb drunk, I think.
Really? Okay.
I think. In
Well,
my in
yeah,
my
okay.
experience. But
Yeah, I've never drank, to be
okay.
just as a disclaimer for everyone. I went on a whole tirade, and maybe there's some people who drink that are just like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking?" I have not drinking. I have been around drunk people,
Yes.
but I have not personally done it.
I'm thinking like I mean it's been a while since I've gotten, like stupid drunk. But like even if I were like, I don't know about blackout. I feel like if I'm blackout drunk, I'm probably not very mobile. But if I were dumb drunk, I still probably wouldn't shoplift, you know?
I see. Okay.
But I don't know. That's not everyone.
Okay. Fair enough. So you are saying that there's still some level of your,
Control, I think I
control.
want to say.
Okay. I
Well, it
guess that's a
depends.
decent way to say it.
Yeah, it depends on how strong those morals are.
Okay.
I don't know. But you said you had an experience with cheating.
I have. And this it's one of those stories that it's like it wasn't fun at the time, but
Mm.
it's kind of funny to say now because it's like ultimately it's not as, you know, heavy. There's not that
Mm-hmm.
much gravity to the situation. I wasn't married. I didn't have a, pregnant spouse. It wasn't anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. If anything,
Mm.
I was what, 20 years old and,
Mm-hmm.
barely dating this person for a few months. So it's like, okay. You know, but but it was really funny because um I'll go through it chronologically.
Okay.
So I grew up very religious, and so
Mm-hmm.
um, not so much anymore, but back then, especially then, I was a lot more involved in church activities. And
Mm.
one of the common things with this church is that when you're about 18 years old up to 30, they
Mm-hmm.
have a congregation called the Young Single Adults, in
Oh,
which
fun.
very fun. The whole purpose is basically to say, hey, date.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it was. So everyone there was younger. I was already 20, but there was
Mm-hmm.
like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, up to
Mm.
27-year-olds, I think was the oldest ones.
Mhm.
So we're all hanging out. It was cool. It was whatever. And I started dating this girl,
Mhm.
and we were having a pretty good time. I thought we were having a good time. In retrospect, I wasn't that great of a partner, but then again, I wasn't that great of a person. I didn't do anything bad, but there was definitely moments where I'm just like, man, we've been dating for like 2 weeks. We should like consider marriage. And I'm just like, gosh dang it, why did I say that? That's so stupid. you know, so whatever. It is what it is. But she was a lot more low key. She wasn't really too invested, which I mean, I totally sympathize with her. That's whatever.
Mm.
But what happened was, um, it seems like it came out of nowhere. Just one day,
Mm.
she was like, "We have to talk," and I was like, "Okay, okay, we can talk. That's cool."
Mm.
Um, but I kind of knew what was coming.
Oh.
Um, whenever someone texts you and says, "We have to talk. Let's meet at this place."
It's not about, you know,
Yeah,
a new fun hobby.
yeah. So I was bracing myself, but it
Mm.
was still tough because it seemed
Mhm.
to go okay.
Yeah.
Um, it was a decent relationship, but ultimately she was like, "No, I'm not really interested anymore. Like, I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me, that sort of
Mm.
thing." I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, whatever. It is what it is." I was upset at the time, very much so, but then I was like,
Mm.
"Okay, it's fine. It's fine."
Yeah.
The next day, we are meeting for an activity
Mhm.
for the young single adults. And afterwards we went to McDonald's, and
Mm.
we had this like pretty decent sized friend group, and one of the guys was like grinning from ear to ear, and he was
Oh
texting
no.
on his phone, and I was like, "Dude, you've been looking at your phone like way more recently." And he's like, "Oh, I'm just texting my girlfriend." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you got a girlfriend? That's crazy. Good for you. Like, I didn't know that. That's cool." He's like, "Oh, it's been pretty recent." And I was like, "Okay, what's your name?" He's like, "Oh, I haven't said it. I haven't said it to anyone really. Like, it's just kind of lucky." I was like, "Oh, okay, it's fine. It's fine." And then, and as we're talking, his brother was like, "Oh, you're talking to your girlfriend?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to my girlfriend." I was like, "Oh, he knows." He's like, "Oh yeah, he's my brother. He knows." And another another friend was like, "Oh, you keep texting it all this time." Like, yeah, it's like, "Oh, you know." I was like, "Oh, do they know too?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, he knows too." And I was like, "Oh, why does he know too?"
Oh my gosh.
And as we're just eating like food, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I just took a bite of my burger and my face was just like a smile to like a frown, and I was like, "Wait, how recent have you been dating this person?" And he's like, "Well, we made it official like yesterday." And I was like, "Oh, you made it official yesterday. Interesting. Um, well, good for you, I guess." And I was like, "How long have you been talking to her?" And he was like, we've been talking for a few months now." And I was like, "Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Good to know." He didn't know that I knew exactly who he was talking about at this point.
Oh no.
And I didn't
Did
make a
they
big, huh?
did they all know that you and your ex were an item?
They all knew,
Oh.
and they all knew that she was talking to him behind my back.
Oh.
And I didn't know that until later, that everyone knew that it was happening for a while.
No.
Needless to say, I don't like talking with them anymore.
I don't blame you.
so, so she never confessed to that. All she did was
Mhm.
just do a breakup. And
Mhm.
I was at the point where I was like, I'm done with it. I'm not even going to mention it to them. I'm just not coming back.
Mm.
And it was one of my many reasons why I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to hang around with these people anymore. I don't like them. They don't like me, obviously.
Reasonably so.
Yeah. So that's always kind of a fun story to tell, because I remember distinctly that moment where I was just like, "Oh, piece of.
Oh
Oh,
no.
here's the interesting part too.
Oh my
Here's an
gosh.
interesting part. Here's an update that I heard fairly recently, a few years ago.
Oh.
But what happened was apparently she went to Denver for a job
Mm-hmm.
and she was cheating on him again. She was cheating on him. She got with another dude. Was she was in Denver and the guy was over here, and he was like, "Oh, dude, how could this happen?" And I'm just in the back of my head like, "You literally did it to me. What do you
Yeah.
mean?" It's like it
Oh no.
literally happened to me. Why do you think it's not going to happen to you, dude?
This is like shocked Pikachu.
Yeah, shocked Pikachu face. That's exactly how my face was. Because it's like, oh man, that's crazy. I still haven't seen him since then, so I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But
Oh
like,
wow.
I could only imagine. I'm not the type of person to say I told you so, especially to their
Mm-hmm.
face. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why? There's no point. But I definitely thought
Yeah.
it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I have to pee really bad.
Okay.
I'm going to cut the recording and then we'll come back. I'm so sorry. And we are back.
That's okay. I'll, there's probably a nice transition that happened there. There was some music.
Yes, we'll have some. Maybe I'll put in another clip of your song.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Just do 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 do.
Do. Okay. So, oh my gosh. So, the guy who your ex cheated on with, later he gets the same treatment from her. That's
Yep.
another thing. What do you think about when people say once a cheater, always a cheater?
Um, I mean, a once a cheater, always a cheater. I I I suppose if it's like there are such things as like chronic cheaters who will do it
Mm-hmm.
multiple times. There are, I would say, times where someone could, get in a bad situation. They just got lost in the heat of the moment, something weird
Mm-hmm.
happened and they're just like, "Oh shoot, this is no bueno."
Yeah.
um I mean, that's definitely possible. In a way, I suppose if you were to say once a cheater, always a cheater, it's like, well, technically, yeah. I mean, you've done it once, so therefore that label could still
Right.
be there. But do I think that it's going to eventually lead to another?
Mm.
Not necessarily,
Mm.
but I think some people could react differently to it. Maybe they will feel really guilty and just be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I just sincerely cannot do that again. I'm so
Mm.
sorry. I'm not even going to risk it because I've already been there. I've already done that. No way. There's no way I'm doing that." You
Right.
know, yeah. And then there's
Like
some people who
so.
could be. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Like my friend, for example. We don't know too much about her husband, but the drunk hand job at the strip club. Do you think he will do it again? Just
Do
just
I?
by feeling whatever.
There is a there could be another possibility. Yeah,
Mm.
there could be another opportunity if he is not careful enough.
Mm.
Um, and who knows? Usually you can find out whether or not someone is going to do it more if there's other red flags. I feel like there's
Right.
usually other signs before it just happens.
True.
If there is no
True.
other signs, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're trying to hide it specifically, but
Right.
usually there's signs. So
Right. Like was so we don't really know, but was he trying to hide it because in a sinister way, or because he felt so guilty that he just wanted it to like go away and pretend like it never happened? We don't know.
yeah, and it could be a mixture of the two. To be completely honest,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I wanted to do it, I did it, I felt kind of bad, but I just had to do it the once. But then
Yes.
I'm just going to drop it. It could be a
Mm.
mixture. It could be a mixture.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So I have another story for you. This was submitted by a listener. So this is about, I've changed all the names. This is submitted by Lisa, and she found out her girlfriend was cheating on her. And it's about the how she found out and the craziness around that.
All right.
So Lisa was dating her girlfriend Nora for about 2 years, and they've known each other for 3 years. And Nora was comes out. She was cheating on Lisa with her BFF Mary's ex-boyfriend Lewis.
Oh wow.
Mm. So, like I said, Lisa had known Nora for about 3 years, dated for two, and she knew about Nora and Mary's friendship. They are BFFs, but it's kind of a very toxic relationship.
Hmm.
They have been friends for 8 years, but from what Lisa has heard from Nora, Mary is a very toxic person, and their relationship is
Hmm.
either like they love each other or they hate each other.
Yeah.
Mm. Now, whenever Lisa tries to tell Nora that Mary wasn't a very good friend and, Nora deserves better treatment, Nora would get like very strangely protective of Mary. So Lisa actually had a feeling that Mary or Nora had a thing for Mary rather than just like a normal friendship. What do you think about this?
Oh, wait. So maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Hmm.
So you said Mary and Nora have been dating? Or no, Nora and.
Mary and uh, Mary and Nora are like a diabolical BFFs. They either love
Okay.
each other or they hate each other.
Okay.
Um, Lisa, who is dating Nora, has this like her gut tells her that Nora isn't just BFFs with Mary, but actually has a thing for Mary.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
Mm.
Okay.
So, and Nora is strangely protective of Mary whenever
Yeah.
Lisa is like, dude, Mary does not sound like a good person. They sound very toxic, just like, you deserve a better friend, da 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 da. So Mary was
Yeah.
dating Lewis at this time, and Mary has been dating Lewis for about 8 years. So it's like a long
Okay.
term relationship.
I see. I see.
Mm.
Okay. Now I'm fully. Now I'm there. Now I'm there. I'm there
Now,
now.
are you here? Are you with us?
I am with you now. I was in
Okay.
space for a moment, but I am here. I am in the trenches.
We are
I
in the
am
trenches.
I am inserting myself into this situation. Woo! And
All right. So around this time, Mary and Lewis are going through a bit of a separation. It's, their relationship, they've been together for 8 years, not 18, sorry. But things are a bit rocky and they go through a little split. They're taking some time off. Um, During this temporary breakup, suddenly Nora swoops in and like becomes very close with Lewis.
oh gosh, okay.
Hmm. And the way Nora explains it to Lisa is that, Lewis is going through a really hard time and she just wants to be there for him because he's been her friend, you know, via Mary for 8 years as well.
Okay.
And Lisa's just like, okay, you are a good friend. Like, that's cool, whatever. But Lisa starts noticing strange things happening. So Nora has a child from a different relationship. This
Okay.
child is about 3 years old at this time. And the child begins referring to Lewis as dad.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
And Lisa notes that the child's actual father, so Nora's baby daddy, lives with Mary and her ex boyfriend and Lewis. Like they're all in the
Oh,
share house together.
okay.
Mm. The next thing that Lisa notices is that Nora changed Lewis's Snapchat name to number one BFF, which had been
No.
yeah, which had been Lisa's handle during their relationship. Mm. How do
Okay.
you feel about this?
Wow. This is it pains me because I feel like
Hmm.
I've known these people before. You know what I mean? And which is what is going to really help my advice, my thoughts, because this is just really messed up.
It's so messed up.
There's a lot of weird connections, and
Hmm.
I'm telling you right now, my gut reaction from personal experience with kind of people like this,
Hmm.
unfortunately, I think you gotta break ties with all of them
Immediately.
immediately. I think I even unfortunately I know how it can be sometimes when you're like dating someone and you want
Hmm.
to see the best out of them. But
Yes.
I'm telling you right now, if they know someone way longer and you're just like, "Oh, their relationship is toxic." It's like that's a pair. Your
Yes.
partner is one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're
Hmm.
involved too. Even if they're like, if even if you're thinking the best out of it and you're just like, oh, for the 8 years, your partner is just like, no, we shouldn't do that. No, it's like they're having an
Hmm.
on and off again like relationship themselves for 8 years. And
Yes.
I see that as a huge red flag. Either
Hmm.
because they're part of the problem where they're also like lashing out at them, maybe they're in
Hmm.
the drama as well, or they're just constantly accepting that drama into their life, which
Right.
I see that as a red flag. If drama keeps constantly coming to you, I'm
Hmm.
sorry, you are part of the problem. And this is me saying that sympathetically and empathetically because I've been there. There's been many situations where I'm like, gosh, I keep attracting the worst people. So that's because I kept allowing it to happen. I don't do it anymore.
Mm.
I'm a lot happier of a person because of it. So from me to you, heart to heart, I'm sorry. You're in a very, very bad situation, and I think you need to start backing away.
Yes. So another strange thing, red flag that Lisa found was that Lisa was over at Nora's house and found Lewis's work clothes at
Oh
Nora's
Lord,
house. And Nora says, "Oh, he's a lonely single guy. He needs help with laundry."
no,
Nope.
no, that's a grown man. I don't
Uh-huh.
care. I don't care if a grown man isn't doing his laundry. I am very upset with them. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna.
Mhm.
Especially if you're younger. No way. No. I mean, even if you're older, but whatever. Yeah, you're a younger
Yes.
guy. You do your own laundry. You have to learn. Any single guy that's listening right now that doesn't do their laundry and you're over the age of 17, do it
Do it.
right now. There's no excuse.
Oh man. All right. And another thing that Lisa notices is that Nora begins keeping food and snacks for Lewis that she would never have eaten herself.
Okay.
Lisa,
Either
you're too kind.
yeah,
Get
either
out.
you're a
Get out.
saint or something weird's happening. Yeah, no way.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
So, yep. So Nora asks Lisa for a break, a relationship break. They've been together for
Okay.
2 years, known for three. But Lisa mentions that around this time, Nora was going through some family tragedy as well. So
Oh,
she felt like, okay, this, there's just a lot of stuff going on for Nora. She's grieving, so no, Lisa is just gonna give her space. She didn't find that strange. This break goes on for close to 3 months. And Lisa was pretty isolated for the 3 years that they've been together, that Lisa and Nora have been together, because she spent all her time with Nora and Nora's cousins. Like, they became a group and she didn't have other friends. So during this 3 month break, Lisa begins, looking for new friends. And so she begins chatting with random people on Snapchat and meets a girl. Lisa is, just casually explaining her situation with Nora to this Snap girl. And the Snap girl is like dropping hints, insisting that she knows Nora.
Oh,
Mm.
what the heck? Okay.
Huh? One day, Nora's cousin messages Lisa on Facebook. And like I mentioned, Lisa was close friends with Nora and, her cousins, because that's all the people that she hung out with. And Nora's cousin is telling Lisa that she heard from the Snap girl about the truth from Lisa, because
Hmm.
Nora has been feeding her cousin, the family, all these lies about Lisa.
Oh gosh.
So the cousin is like, I am so sorry for the lies that Nora has been spreading about you. And turns out that Snap Girl is like friends with Nora and Nora's cousin. And it turns out, so Lisa hears from the cousin that immediately after Mary and Lewis started their relationship break, Nora swooped in and started hooking up with Lewis.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
Despite Mary trying to salvage the relationship with Lewis.
Oh, Lord above.
Mm. So I feel like this is another situation where it's like once a cheater, always a cheater. I think Nora, from what I hear from Lisa, is kind of like she's a piece of work.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it. My eyes are just rolling constantly. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't like this person.
No.
I
No.
don't know their real name, but gosh dang it. That's why I'm saying I'm like, I've known this person before. I've known these
Yes.
people before. That's why I'm just like, ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lisa told me that Nora is like a chronic liar. I guess I don't know if narcissist is the correct term, but I feel like she is one. Nora had been lying to Lisa about not getting child support. And so Lisa was like giving her money to buy
Oh
food and
gosh.
stuff for Nora and the child. And Lisa realizes, after they break up, that Nora only really gained interest in Lisa after Lisa received an inheritance from her grandparents' death.
Oh.
Mm,
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Oh.
So that's yeah. That is
I
Lisa's story.
I have a headache now. I'm so sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, I am so sorry, Lisa.
I wish I got to you sooner because I when we took the first break I was like you gotta leave the story kept going. I wish
Yeah.
I was there, girl. I'm sorry. I wish I was there. I would have warned you. I would have told you these people are bad news. But I feel like she knew too because she was kind of like you know having the break and she was like I got to talk to like new friends and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that she was aware. But yeah,
Yeah.
good lord, that's wild. I'm assuming that she's cut all ties now. There's yeah.
Yes, yes, there was an update from Lisa. Lisa is now really good friends with Nora's cousin and the Snap girl. And so everyone's basically turned their back on Nora.
Okay.
But Lisa has got this great new healthy group of friends.
It's always fun. It's always funny when you have like a really bad like friend group. Sometimes you
Hmm.
don't know. Sometimes you don't know how
Right.
bad it really is until you get the opposite.
Hmm.
When you have a good friend group that's like healthy, normal, and you're just like, wait a minute, this is how
What is
friends are.
this?
Yeah, is this how friends are supposed to be? That's crazy.
Yeah,
So hopefully she's a lot happier now. I'm
I hope so.
yeah, Lisa, this one's for you. I have my cup of water.
Yep, I got my tea. Cheers to Lisa.
Cheers to Lisa. You're a survivor.
Yes. Lisa did tell me some more like really juicy stories about Nora. Nora's
Ooh,
own. So this is like has nothing to do with the whole cheating, but Nora's own family is just like very twisted and messed up.
that typically happens. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
And so I don't have all the details right in front of me, but so Nora's older brother was her cousin, but also brother.
Oh, oh
Does that make
no.
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Where is this at, by the way? I have a feeling I know the location, but I'm curious.
What's your guess? What's your guess? I don't
I'm
I don't know how much I can tell you about where the location is without
uh,
giving too much information.
for sure. I'm thinking I'm thinking somewhere Midwest.
Interesting. I can tell you it is not in the US.
It isn't in the US. That's
It's not.
shocking.
It's not in the US.
Oh wow.
But I think there are like, quote unquote Midwest cultures in other countries as well.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
So let me tell you about this whole like weird family relationship of Nora's. So Nora's mom uh, was married to was dating uh, a guy who was part of this like cult, this
Woo.
very infamous cult that that was just like very messed up. And this guy, I don't know if he was very high up in the um in the ranks, like where how much power he had in this cult, or if he was just like a member of it. um but so Nora's mom and this guy had a son, and then this guy did some shady shit, and he committed a horrific crime and murdered a woman
Oh wow.
and a child.
Oh gosh.
It was very gruesome. It's a very famous story where Lisa is from. And so the guy went to jail, obviously.
Good.
Uh, During his jail sentence, um, I I don't have my facts straight, but either the boy dies for some reason, and so in the mom's grieving, she is consoled by the guy's brother,
Oh gosh.
by the dead boy's dad's brother.
Okay.
And as a result of being consoled by this brother, Nora and her sister are born.
Oh man, that's this is like it's almost like a movie. It's almost like a movie how crazy
Right?
this is.
But so Lisa told me this, but um despite these two children, Nora and the sister, being the brother's children, the mom still took the girls to her, I guess, incarcerated husband on visitation and told them he's their dad.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How could you do that with clear conscience? I mean,
I have no idea.
oh my gosh.
And did the guy, did this, incarcerated guy, did he know? Right? Like, I wonder how he dealt with that. Did they have conjugal visits? Like, does he actually think those girls are his?
Yeah, I mean, there has to be. I don't know. There has to be a part of you that kind of feels like that's not the case.
Mm,
I don't know. Yeah, that's weird.
right? Or does he know that it's his brother's kids? Maybe like he's accepted that, oh, she's gone and cheated with someone else and it got these two kids, but I'll take them as my own, but he doesn't know that it's his brother's kids.
Gosh dang, it's really it really makes my head spin. It's like crazy. It's so crazy that it's like,
Crazy.
what do you even do? What do you even think?
Yeah,
How did what is their perspective on that? What
that's a
did
good question. Oh,
yeah
Lisa's perspective
yeah or
or
Nora's
Nora's perspective?
yeah
That
Nor
I don't know. I'll have to ask Lisa.
yeah that'd be interesting. It's like, you know what I mean, like that has to like mess with you. But then again,
Yeah.
how much of it is actually like truthful? If it's Nora telling the story, I mean, she's a liar
Right.
anyways. Maybe
Yes.
maybe she's just
Yes.
saying it to get like brownie points. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Chronic liars could come up with anything.
That is so true.
That reminds me, real quick.
Mm.
Have you seen or heard of that TikTok series that's really popping called "Who the F Did I Marry"?
I've only heard the title. I'm actually, admittedly, I am not on TikTok. Tell me
Okay.
about this. Tell me about this.
Oh Lord. I can't go too deep into it. So
Okay.
I will suggest to you you look into it. It's like 5 or 6 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
This woman goes for like a whole she has a whole shift worth of like details of how she met and courted, married and divorced this like crazy chronic liar.
Oh my gosh.
And it's kind of giving me those same vibes where it's just
Uh,
like, oh yeah, my my dad is actually the brother of a killer, and it's like, okay, like I don't
uh.
know, like part of that seems like it's like one of those kind of like extravagant lies where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, isn't this cool that I'm actually like the offspring of like really messed up family.
So it's 5, 6 hours of this one person's life.
Yeah,
It's
she's
not.
just
So I thought it was just like it's like Love Is Blind. So it's just like a bunch of different couples that are being.
no.
Oh.
It is her just giving this whole experience, and I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere where you could like do it at like 2 times the speed or something. But she's compelling. She's a great storyteller. You would
Oh my gosh.
you would think that like 6 hours of a woman just talking would get boring really fast.
Mhm.
But I was working last weekend
Mhm.
on Saturday. I do yard work, and I'm doing that for
Mm.
at least like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm using like the hula hoe. I'm digging out like weeds and stuff, and I'm just listening the whole time, and I'm just like gasping. I'm like I'm just like, this story is crazy.
Oh my gosh. I will definitely have to look into this.
Oh yeah, it's oh Lord, it is a journey. It's a journey.
Oh,
Lisa should do a TikTok story
oh
time
my
like it
gosh. I
too.
hope I hope she does. Lisa, please do a TikTok of your stories.
Yeah, Lisa, look at Who the F Did I Marry? That's the name of the TikTok series, I guess I want to call it. Look at what
Is
she
that
did.
is that like the name of the account or the like the
No, that's her like self-proclaimed title
okay,
of the
okay.
story. But she milked that thing for like
Oh,
hours.
that's amazing.
And each TikTok has like at least 6 million views.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of though. So yeah, you should probably check that out. Forget the sound mites. Check out Who the F Did I Marry on YouTube or TikTok.
Well, no. We'll listen to sound mites when you need like a debrief after all of that craziness.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There we go.
When you need to vibe out after having to take, you know, I haven't drank before, but I really wanted to after hearing the story. Just go to a bar like, who the F did she marry? What the heck?
Oh my gosh. I need someone to make like a podcast of them reacting to like the different parts of like I love reaction videos.
Oh, I'm sure there's reactors that were reacting to that series. So
Definitely.
that would be interesting though. I've been thinking of streaming on Twitch recently.
Oh,
Maybe that should be my debut.
do it. Do it. You have 5-6 hours of material already.
Oh Lord. Yeah, just instantly start reacting.
Yes.
Oh man. That's funny.
Oh gosh. People and lives are crazy.
You could say that again. People and lives are crazy. I did it for you.
Thank you. All right. We have been gabbing and yapping. It's been so good. This was really fun.
I had a
Thank
good
you.
time.
I hope you join me again, Swifty.
I think I would love to do that. Maybe when I have something more concrete.
Ooh. All right. All right. Before we say goodbye, I'd love to play a clip of your other song. Oh my God, where is the title? Hold on.
Is it Overnight Loser?
Yes.
Yeah. This is the first song that I posted in 2022, the end of 2022. This is the other singer that I was talking about before. So
Yes.
the other sound might.
The other sound might. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on. Open your eyes and you will see a future beyond your fantasy. You can see left when you're wide awake. That's why I like to dream that you can't see me. That was so cool.
Thank you. I enjoy making music, and I hope to entertain more people. So
Yeah. I'm very excited for your 2 albums that you are planning, and I hope that you create more than just 2.
we'll see how it goes. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Swifty.
Thank you so much, Shoko.
Thank you. We'll have you back again.
All right, I shall return. Thank you for having me. Goodbye, listeners. I love you. Smooches for all of you. Consensually, of course.
Smooches. Consensual smooches.
Consensual smooches.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Cup of Chocolate. If you have a story to share with us, some juicy gossip, or you want to come on the show with me and be part of the conversation, DM me at our Instagram account @markcupofchocolate. This podcast is a labor of love by yours truly, but can't exist without your support and engagement. Let me know your thoughts and feedback. I'm Shoko. Join us again next week for another Cup of Chocolate.